roll tutorial. And we're going to teach you how to roll today. The first step is, well, yeah, don't try it like that. That's not going to end well, especially if you've never tried to roll. This is similar to a gymnastics roll or a martial arts roll. If you have a martial arts roll down, it's more along the shoulder than you think. It's a lot easier. If you're coming from a gymnastics roll, you may want to start to tweak it a bit. Essentially, it's a roll along the shoulder, down to the lower back, along that pathway. It avoids contact with the spine, which makes it a lot safer to absorb the shock. I mean, there was this one thing they did on fight science or something, and the roll had completely absorbed the shock off of a 16-foot drop. So you're going to need this if you're going to start jumping off high things. Alright, let's get started. The first step is, if you're coming down from a height, you're going to want to kind of absorb the shock into your knees. Keep nice and bent. If we're going to do it on the ground, we're just going to start with the ground. So, as we're coming into it, you want to take your momentum steps, or as you're coming in, your steps to get yourself a little bit of shock absorbance. The key piece is that shoulder. You want to roll on that shoulder. Not along your spine, not along sideways or anything, but nice along your shoulder. As you're coming in, put your hands on the ground. Now, some people I know like to kind of push like that, and it'll roll along the shoulder. But you're coming down into it, and you want to get onto that shoulder. And as you do that, you come in like this, and then you're along that spine. I just got a lot of wood chips on me. Anyway, as you're coming into that roll, you're going to end up doing something that looks like this. And then you can get back up, and you're good to run. Wood chips?
No.
Yeah, no wood chips. Anyway, as you're coming up from that roll, the key piece is going to be your leg, keeping your foot nice and firm. If it's loose in this leg, or whatever, or maybe you like to roll on that leg, whatever way you're rolling, you want to make sure your foot is nice and firm and kind of plant it outward so you can get up. If it's kind of limp, you're just going to kind of fall on your leg, not be able to get up. So this is what it would look like if you had a limp leg. And you can't get up. It's going to take you kind of like that. That's not going to be helpful. That's going to be counterproductive for the roll. Instead, if you keep a nice firm leg, you can be able to push off. Push off and get a little higher. This is how you want to do it with a firm leg. It allows you to get back up on your feet without having to use your hands. You just get right back up. And these wood chips are everywhere, guys. I mean, look at them. I'm going to see you wood chips.
Oh my!
I got them on my shoe. We're going to take a short break and let you re-look at that in slow motion. Alright, now that you've looked at in slow motion, you can see your steps. I'm probably going to give you a side angle. Give you this. Just an example. Instead of just forward rolls it up and down. But that's just how you can see along your spine. The roll from the side angle is this. And you're up. And that's quick. Again, more wood chips. These piss me off. Anyway, wood chips avoided. If you want to start learning it, it's nice. Absorb the shock a little bit in your toes. As you're coming down from a height where you're just doing a nice stance, be on the balls of your feet. If you land on the back, it can lead to injury. If you land on the balls of your feet, you'll absorb some of the shock and allow yourself to go into the roll nice and easy. Remember, shoulder to the mid-back. Along here, here, along the back, here. Once you get that down, which is the key piece in absorbing your shock, then it's your stand-up. Once you're going to get in that stand-up position, after you roll, so you come into the roll, here, and then in this position, as you're coming in this position, the key piece is to be getting up. I prefer to leave my leg like this, and then push off with it. So what it looks like is this. I can get up on my maneuver. But there's other forms you can do it. Some people like to keep their leg more firm, like this, straight. So there's also different degrees of which you can roll. Some people like to roll forward a little more, which is, I prefer it. It's much better to get you going in the direction you want. Some people roll about a 45-degree angle, some roll 360. It's just the angle at which you take your shoulder. So here's a couple examples. Forward. And then here's one about a little more. And that's a 360 kind of roll. They're a bit different. And then from a height, which is a bit of a different story. There's a lot more needed. These wood chips are quite annoying. Alright, I'm going to show you how to jump from height now. Alright, jumping from height is a bit of a different story. Because you need to have the forward momentum to precisely give you the roll that you need. As you're coming into it, you want to shock absorption and then roll. Without that forward momentum, pushing off the jump, you'll get nowhere. And the roll will just make you land on your feet. Of course, I could just jump and land this, but the roll would be much more effective if I was going to take off and keep moving after you. So, here's a roll from height. I'm going to slow it down in slow motion for you guys. Here it goes. And that's the roll, and you need to go out and try it. And if you have any problems, just subscribe, and I'll give you some comments, write feedback, whatever works for you guys. Alright, now we've covered the basic roll, the jumping roll, and now we're going to show you the dive roll, which will get you some more distance if you want to go up and over an object. Most of the time it's not too helpful, but if you can ever find a situation, it'll allow you to do multiple tricks. Or if you come down from a height, you can use this trick, or this tweaking of the roll, to give you more distance for your next jump. So here's a dive roll. It's a nice smooth roll. You keep it. You launch yourself in the air, and the piece is to extend your arms. The diving, you want your momentum steps. Diving is the key piece. You need to lay out. Some people may just take it down at an angle, but once you dive, you need to make sure when to come down to roll. Because if you're too long, you'll just kind of flatten out and land on your face. Too short, and you'll come down too much of an angle, land on your back. The key piece is to come down at that precise angle. Know your jumping distances, so here's again, dive roll. And the key piece here, I said key piece way too many times, but seriously, the key piece, besides your angle of jump, is putting your hands down first. Without marking your position with your hands, you can't come into the roll. It's impossible to get yourself to torque over that much without needing your hands. And that's the dive roll. So, we've covered basic roll. I'll slow motion again for you. We've covered the jump roll, slow motion again. And we've covered the dive roll, which again, slow motion. And that's how you do your rolls. And good luck, have fun.